Has anyone noticed that when they go and attempt to debate someone on a specific topic, depending on how brainwashed and how much of a zealot that person is, the likelihood of them going and accusing you of being Hitler, rather than addressing your argument, quickly approaches 1. Believe it or not, me saying that people should be hired based on their education, seniority, and experience with the job is not like lining up a bunch of people from the same genetic background and then just gassing the lot of them in the showers. Also, me believing that what is good for goose is also good for gander is not like me signing a peace treaty with one country as my tanks and foot soldiers cross their border in an attempt to invade said country. Also, and most importantly of all, me being a white straight male is not the same thing as being Hitler, because Hitler is literally Hitler, where I am literally Odio, and as such, I am my own person with my own ideas and goals, and am not a 187-year-old previous German dictator, though, if I were, then as Yoda from the Star Wars movie said, "When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not." The point, though, remains. The reason that Hitler is hated and despised is not because he is Hitler, but rather because Hitler did terrible, horrible things. Anyone disagreeing with a given point does not make that person Hitler. All it means is they have done a cost-benefit analysis and have come up with an answer that is different than yours. This does not mean that they are wrong, and it does not mean that they are correct either. It just means that they have an opinion that is different than yours, and all of this worst first thinking that you are basing your logic and reason on is simply blowing things out of proportion. If this person's way of thinking is so horrible and terrible to you, then by all means, please go and point out what makes his opinion so terrible and leave the mudslinging at home. Also, if you're just going to go and default to, well, I'm right, this person is wrong, therefore I don't have to prove anything, and instead people like this have to prove themselves to me, etc., then in which case, congratulations, you are behaving in a manner that would support the thinking and rationale of any given dictator. Please take note that I did not call you Hitler. Yes, Hitler is a dictator, but not all dictators are Hitler. Also, if your premise is that you are right and that any piece of evidence presented only goes and further proves this, then in which case, congratulations on you having a non-falsifiable premise that by logic is nothing more than a logical fallacy. It is like saying that people of group XYZ are all this, and because I say they are like this, that is all they can go and be. And any actions to the contrary is only an exception that will only go and further the given role that they are placed in. Whether this group of people we're talking about is black people being criminals, or women being mentally inferior, or all whites being racist, or all men are just nothing but misogynists, it really does not matter. The fact is that the given argument in place cannot be falsified, therefore, the argument is worthless. Now then, for those of you who are taking notes, you may be wondering what this has to do with anything. Simple. Whether you agree or not with what I just said does not really matter. The fact is that if I am asked to go and support something that I believe, I am not going to be intellectually lazy and just wind up saying, "Oh no, you disagree with me. You must be just like Hitler," and then call it a day. I am actually going to put some work into my point of view, build my argument up a little bit, and prove that based on logic and common sense alone, why I am correct, rather than relying on demagoguery to prove my point. Of course, anyone who disagrees with me on avoiding emotional arguments to win their case, then of course I am pretty sure you will support me 100% when I say that we must do something about this black menace that is raping our women, and for women's own benefit, we must confine them to the house so that they will not be attacked by roving bands of terrorists. Naturally enough, the point is you are not going to agree with me, and congratulations, you have just proved why I do not support demagoguery, i.e. emotional argument. And, once again, just from the top, I did not go and call you Hitler to go and make my point. I did not have to, and even if I did, that would not have proven anything other than I cannot go and think beyond my own point of view and be completely incomprehensible to the opinion and viewpoint of other people. It has been said before, but I will be saying this again. It is usually the mark of an educated mind for one person to entertain an opinion and not support it. I can hold just about any viewpoint in my head for a certain length of time. And at the end of the day, no, I can be completely against it and think it's the dumbest thing I ever heard of, but the point is I can still at least listen to the opinions and viewpoints of others and then use that to go and actually build whatever case I believe is correct. Short version, put some damn work into what you're doing. If it's that important for you to go and argue with someone about why you're right, make it so that when you go and deliver your point, that the onus is upon reason and logic and not according to how this person feels. Also, more to the point, if you are talking to someone like me, emotional arguments tend to fall flat because, well, I just really don't care how people go and feel. I care how they think. So an emotional argument means I get to go and have some fun.